The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom, and his tongue talketh of judgment. The law of his God is in his heart, none of his steps shall slide. This word tells us, if this is so, what should concretely look like the life of God's people who will inherit this land. It focuses particularly on the word, tongue, where the nature and inner personality of man can be revealed and expressed best. Here, wisdom does not designate the art of living or intelligence of the world, but the fear of God, serving and adoring God, as said in the Psalms and Proverbs. The mouth of the righteous speaketh wisdom is a synecdoche showing that the center of the heart is always filled with the word of God, and that all life and actions are filled with the appearance of service, adoration, and fear toward God. Our God's people must always be filled with the word of God like this, to live in service and fear toward him. And his tongue talketh of judgment shows a life that always speaks and proclaims the governance and judgment of God. The wicked live by speaking all sorts of words of debauchery, lying, slander, and dispute, but our God's people must always be filled with the gospel to testify and proclaim this. Our God is alive and acts even today. Behind the life on this earth awaits God's judgment, and according to whether you believe or not in the merit of the blood of his only begotten Son, you can enter into paradise or into hell. Therefore, you must believe in Jesus, and we must always proclaim believe in Jesus to go to paradise, do not believe to go to hell like this. The law of his God is in his heart, none of his steps shall slide. Here, the heart is the center of personality where human intelligence, emotions, and will reside, and the source that decides all actions of life. And the law of God is in the heart means not that it remains simply as knowledge in the head or as a legal duty, but that it is rooted deeply in the heart and synchronized. That is, our God's people, because they are filled with the word of God in their heart, in important moments of life, that is, at the moment of choosing something, will choose and judge based on God's will, and not on the temptation of the world or personal calculation. And steps designates the life journey and mode of action of God's people. That is, none of his steps shall slide means that in the life journey and mode of action, we will never slip, never fall, and never fail. To conclude, he who has God's law in his heart will not be easily shaken or discouraged, no matter what crisis or suffering strikes. Because this word always straightens the center of that person, one will never be shaken by any temptation, trial, or suffering, and one can walk on the right path of faith. To put it another way, our God's people may stagger for a moment, but they will never go to perdition. Because the word of God always supports these steps. The secret for our God's people not to fall and not to fail while walking on the rugged path of this world resides in no ability or context, but in the word of God planted deeply like an anchor at the center of the heart. Therefore, our God's people must be filled with the word of God.